All right, so once again, I uploaded a video, spent 8 or 9 minutes on, and YouTube said no, no thanks. It's not gonna work. So it just said error, and so now I'm recording with a different program that I've gotten that came with my camera. Anyway, this video is once again is for you know, unless you're interested in phenomenology or you really like philosophy and you want to understand phenomenology, or you're interested in Edmund Husserl, who's the founder of phenomenology, you're going to hate this video because it's going to be really boring for you. But if you are interested in the I think is the most interesting and promising branch of philosophy around, this is a good video for you to watch. Um, I'm going to read the translator's introduction first because it clarifies this book, and this is by Edmund Husserl, and it's a translation entitled "Analyses Concerning Passive and Active Synthesis: Lectures on Transcendental Logic," and it's translated by Anthony Steinbock, who is a fantastic phenomenologist and a very it's kind of a visionary, but we can get to that later. Okay, so this first part is just going to be the first page of the translation, and it is going to basically situate us and tell us what is going to be coming up in the translator's introduction. I think it's a really good introduction. I think it sets you up for a good understanding of phenomenology, and this is, yeah. So it says, the Analyses Concerning Passive and Active Synthesis, the book, was Edmund Husserl's phenomenological investigation into the origin of truth. We find here an early indication of a historical reflection and the identification of a crisis. Husserl's last work was called The Crisis of the European Sciences, and so this is a sort of what Steinbock is saying is that in this book we find an early indication of Husserl's engagement with history and broadening of his horizons as to what phenomenology would mean and would need to mean in order to achieve the goals that he wants his this philosophy that he's founded called phenomenology to succeed in its goals, which is basically the serving as the foundation for all knowledge and all the universal science of experience and consciousness. So we find here an early indication of a historical reflection and the identification of a crisis. Also, the description of primordial dimensions of experience, the genealogy of judgment, and the employment of a new genetic phenomenological method. So he's got a new method that he's introduced in this book. While a large portion of the material comprised under this heading is a translation of Husserliana 11, Analyses or Passiven Synthesis, my German is non-existent. It also includes essential additions to the main text of Husserl's lecture, some supplements, and a partial reorganization of the material. That's what's going to be in this translation. The translator's introduction is offered as an orientation to this work. This introduction is divided into 4 sections. Section 1 situates the work historically and conceptually, discusses its composition and revised title, and provides a basic overview of the material making up this lecture. Section 2 of the translator's introduction situates the Analyses, this book, in the context of a genetic phenomenology, since it is this methodological approach that enables the description of phenomena treated in the Analyses. Section 3 elaborates upon the novel and significant themes of these lectures, such as passivity, affective allure, association, motivation, the unconscious, etc. Section 4 includes final editorial notes on the translation and my acknowledgments. Rather than reserving a special section to explain the translation of various key terms, I integrate this clarification into the course of the explications of Section 2 and 3, and on occasion discuss them in footnotes appended to the translated text. Not important. So that he'll be explaining the the translation of various key terms from German into English into sections 2 and 3. So this next reading that I'm going to put up is going to be basically section 1. It's going to situate this work, this very important work. It's pretty big work. It's going to situate the translator's introduction. We're going to read in the next video. Situates the work historically and conceptually, so you'll be able to understand that, and discusses its composition, the composition of the work as a whole, and its revised title. And it provides a basic overview of material making up this lecture. I think the most interesting will probably be section 3. Section 2 is cool because it's going to describe the method that Husserl employs, which is really important. Just as basically the essence of phenomenology is the method that is used to describe experience, to describe the phenomena, the things themselves. And then section 3, I think, is going to be the coolest, though. I think it's the most interesting. It elaborates the novel and significant themes of these lectures, such as passivity, what does that mean? Affective allure, what does that mean? Association, motivation, and the unconscious. So this is, I think this is one of the only books in which Husserl really, or one of the only lectures that Husserl really deals with affection and emotion and the role that it has in motivating our embodied structure of subjectivity and the ego and the unconscious and basically constituting a world for itself. That doesn't mean that it creates the world. The world is already there, he believes. It's not total idealism, but it's by constitution. Husserl means the way that the world announces itself. So you have to have experience, and your experiences and and the context you're in determine the way that the world announces itself to consciousness and perception and whatever other experiences you're going to have. So stay tuned. We'll be hardcore or really devoted or whatever philosophers and phenomenologists especially. I will see you in the next video.